This is Michael Gerace with Clearview Sewer Cams. It is February 15th, 2021, and we are located at 8023 Irondale Avenue, Winnetka, California, 91306, performing a waistline and sewer line inspection. Do the 3-inch cast iron waistline cleanout on the left rear corner of the house. We could not locate a mainline sewer cleanout around the property. There may be one buried, and we may be able to locate one with the camera. But we're going to go ahead and try and run through the cast iron waistline on the wall. And this is right next to the garage area. That's the garage. A little portico next to the garage. And this is the backyard area. We're going to zero out our camera monitor right here at the opening. This way we have a good, clear idea of where we are and a good counting of where we are, so that when we locate anything, or if we need to locate anything, we know where we're at exactly. We're going to go ahead and begin running our camera through the cast iron. This is a cast iron waistline under the house. And so far the cast iron waistline appears to be fairly clean for the age of the piping. It may have been cleaned at one time, and periodically hydrojetting the cast iron does not hurt as long as you don't overdo it. A little bit of debris, hair and such hanging down from a fitting right there. And just continue to run through the waistline and attempt to get all the way out to the city sewer, making a turn. And we're probably going over toward the other bathroom area. Once we get outside the house, it'll probably transition to vitreous clay, and we can locate that area. Continue running through the waistline. Another inlet right there from a fixture. A bit of crust build up on that fixture, and a little bit of scaling and corrosion, which is common. Now we're transitioning to what appears to be vitreous clay from what I can see, the cast iron to vitreous clay. And that does look like it could be an ABS plastic sewer clean out in that area. We're going to just take a look. We're going to try and locate this area. This is in the vitreous clay. So we're going to pause for a moment. Okay, we did locate this area at the front foundation wall, right by the kitchen area. We marked it with an orange flag. We could not locate a mainline clean out in here. This may be a tie-in possibly to the other side of the house. So we're going to continue to push out. Coming back. This is the cast iron to vitreous clay connection. We're going to mark that on the way back. I'm going to continue to run out. We have a section of ABS plastic, and then we transition right back to vitreous clay. We get a little bit of an offset in that joint, not terrible. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. That's all vitreous clay piping. We got some root intrusion here. This is minor root intrusion, but nevertheless we have some root intrusion in here, and that will need to be maintained. next joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Next joint has some minor root intrusion as well. And that joint has some root intrusion. A little bit heavier root intrusion there. Next joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition as well. That joint's got some root intrusion, minor, again, but still, nevertheless, it's at the 4 to 6 inch connection by the property line. So we're in 4-inch vitreous clay. We're increasing to 6-inch vitreous clay right here. That is the city lateral. The homeowner is responsible for the city lateral from their property line by the sidewalk area to the city sewer tie-in connection in the street. We're going to run out now into the 6-inch vitreous clay city lateral, and that joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Making a little bit of a turn. That joint's got a little bit of a gap, but not terrible. That appears to be a crack. We'll take a good look at that on the camera monitor back at the office. We'll blow it up and take a good look at it. Then we have a joint here. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition at this time. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition as well. That joint's got a little bit of an offset to it, and it looks like a minor, little tiny bit of maybe some root intrusion coming off to the left, possibly. We'll take a good look at that too, but we got a little bit of an offset here. We're going to drop down into the line there. And that joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Making a turn. Got a little larger offset right here. That's pretty big. You've got most of the face of the pipe showing right here, and this is the turn in the city sewer saddle area before we drop into the city sewer. We're going to jump over that area, and then we're into the city sewer. With the large offset right at the city sewer saddle area, we would recommend installing a top hat liner, a CIPP, cured in place piping, top hat liner to keep that saddle from shifting any further, because you can see the entire face of that joint. And if it gets larger, if it offsets more, that joint can break. There's a hub, there's a bell and spigot, there's a big hub or a bell, and then the piping goes into it and it's packed with concrete around it. Once it gets offset so much, you can crack that bell and then you have no stability. It can sever very easily with earth movement. We're going to pause for a moment. Okay, we're going to continue our video sewer inspection. We did walk through everything with the buyer and the agents, the seller's agent and the buyer's agent. We're going to begin pulling back. And right here, as I said, you got a major offset right there at the saddle area. Pretty large offset. You're seeing the whole face of the pipe on the bottom. So it would definitely do them well to put a top hat liner in there to support that area. We're pulling back, and we have a couple other minor offset joints, but not terrible. That joint has a minor offset. You can see we're dropping down into it. You can even see the camera drop. So it shifted a little bit, but that's not terrible. That's very common. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. That joint has a little tiny bit of an offset, but again, nothing to worry about. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition, pretty flush right there. And we have this area right here. I don't know if it's just a marking within the clay or if that is a crack. I'll be able to see it a lot better when I blow it up on the camera monitor. If it is a crack, then that's right in the middle of a fitting, right toward the end of the piping, about maybe 1.5 feet from the edge of the pipe, and might end up having to put a liner in there to support that area, because if that is cracked, it could be cracked all the way around. We can't see it because we're in a little bit of a turn. So we're going to continue to pull back now. That joint has a minor offset, just a minor offset there. Next joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition at this time. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. A little bit of root intrusion in that joint. You can see up at about the 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock area. Pulling back. That joint has a minor offset, nothing to worry about. That's common and appears to be in fair and maintainable condition at this time. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. A little heavier root intrusion, a little bit bigger offset here. Nothing terrible, but it is offsetting where it's catching the camera right here as I push in. And you have some larger root intrusion there that needs to be maintained with Root X, possibly hydrojetting. A mainline sewer cleanout needs to be installed so this can be hydrojetted and maintained. That joint has a minor offset, just catching the camera, which it shouldn't. But again, not terrible. Coming back toward the 4 to 6 inch connection. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. I think we passed the 4 to 6 inch connection, I apologize. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition as well. We're back in the 4 inch. Got a little bit of an offset here in this joint, but that's because of the band that they use. This is vitreous clay coming back to ABS plastic. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition, as does that joint. You got a little gap in that. They didn't seat the ABS plastic deep into the band. Pulling back, making a turn. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. And then we're back at our cast iron to vitreous clay. So we're going to locate this area real quick. So we're going to pause for a moment. Okay, we're going to resume with our video, and we mark this area at 2 foot 1 inches deep. This is the cast iron to vitreous clay connection. I'm just going to continue pulling back. We've already viewed the cast iron on the way out. Pull slowly through the cast iron. So you can see that it's got some scaling and corrosion buildup, but not terrible. Seen a whole lot worse than this. This is more than likely this is original cast iron. Right there you get a little bit of buildup that may start causing a restriction, possibly. Wouldn't hurt to hydrojet the cast iron, clean it up a little bit more in time. Don't think it's a necessity right at this moment, but in time. That's an inlet coming from a fixture. Going back to our waistline cleanout. And that will conclude our video waistline and sewer line inspection.